Hey, Reg, you shave your balls?
I do shave my balls.
What product do you use?
I use Manscaped, especially the Lawnmower Trimmer 4.0.
Wow, I need to check that out.
I think you should. And with our code, Rapping Order 20, you can get 20% off.
Wow, Reg, thanks for that. My girl's going to be so happy.
Smooth as eggs.
And welcome to another episode of Rap in Order. I'm First Class Regg.
And I am Taurian B.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into the fifth studio album from the game. This one was called Jesus Piece. It was released in 2012 through DGC Records and Interscope Records. Game, up until this point, I think this was an album that kind of switched gears for him in a bit. Like, he was already known in his catalog for releasing these really good albums, but people didn't really connect those albums and those releases to him in a way. But with this album, he worked with so many people. You had Meek Mill on here, 2 Chainz, Ross, Kanye, J. Cole, Pusha T, Kendrick, Jamie Foxx, Chris Brown. Like, he just had so many people, and Game has always done that. And people have always accused him of kind of not having his own identity as an artist, right? Mm-hmm. But this album came out, and I think people kind of forgot about that. I guess people kind of became accustomed to what he was giving us at this time, and just took this for what it was. And it was a really solid release. It had some really good features. It had a really good reception around it. And at this point, he established himself as an artist well after G Unit, and standing on his own. What did you think about this release?
I checked out on the game up until this point, right? Mm-hmm. So when it came out, like I was curious because I was like, all right, Jesus Pieces are synonymous with rappers and drug dealers. Growing up, you always saw the rappers or drug dealers having a Jesus piece, and it was like a trophy, walking around, the neighborhood, or you see them in the videos and everything like that. And then I heard that it was like a conceptual album, because he basically named the album after he recorded. Like, he recorded over like 300 songs or something like that. And he recorded so much music, and then he went back to the lab and like basically redid the album because he knew, like, all right, I like this concept. I want to keep going with this. So it was really, really interesting for me because he's never done a conceptual album. And Game kind of like he's kind of like the Chris Brown of hip hop, in my opinion, where like he's extremely talented and he always has great ideas, but like he can never stick to one thing. And it's like, if he would have, like, the reason why the documentary is so good is because it wasn't in his hands.
Yeah.
Right? So when the music is like in Chris Brown's first album, it wasn't in his hands. Mm-hmm. So whenever like you have, you're the talent and people are just telling you like, all right, this is the song you're going to do, this is the concept, it works. And I think for Game, that's kind of like the best thing for him, because he's so talented at rapping. You kind of don't want him to think about nothing else, right?
Yeah.
And he already has so many things going on with this project, like him explaining, the album didn't have a spiritual theme, that it had a gangster theme while enjoying the faith of God. Mm-hmm. And you hear that and you're just like, what? and then, he went on to explain, Biggie making, the Jesus piece like a big deal, because drug dealers, they would wear Jesus, like not only Jesus piece, they would wear like saints for protection. Yeah. So they would, because a lot of them went to Catholic school and like they learned about their saints. So like they would wear different saints, and then Biggie was wearing Jesus. So like that kind of like made it like, like a really big thing, right?
Yeah.
I also thought was significant was this was his first time working with Dre since the documentary.
That's true. Yeah.
So that was like a really, really standout thing to me, because, he was always like, referring to Dr. Dre, him being from Compton, him saying that, Easy, he was inspired by Eazy-E because when he was a kid, he remembered Eazy coming back to the neighborhood.
Video shoot and stuff.
Yeah, and everything like that. So it was kind of like a kind of full circle for him, right? I just think that like he's just the king of doing too much. And I
he
think
does way too much.
And I think sometimes whenever like that's the case, that's what the turnoff is. Like the way people get turned off by Kanye is the way I get turned off by Game. Whereas like he'll like have too much to say, and then obviously his manager being whack 100. Like there's always like some drama. Like there's always something. So
they just come from that era where like I think that's why initially him signing with 50 made so much sense at the time, or him being associated with 50 had so much sense at the time, because he just really dove knee deep into that controversial thing, like naming people, calling people out on records.
yeah.
So like he really embraced that, and I think that's why they really worked out at first. And when they separated and it went the way it went, I was kind of surprised, but I wasn't at the same time, because they kind of just collided the way that they did. And then I think the reason for their collision was that Game just had so many people that he wanted to work with, and 50 had beef with all of them.
50 just didn't like what Game was doing, but yeah, that's true. And also, like, Game kind of had it in his mind that he knew they was going to fall out. Like, Jim Jones had an interview a long time ago where he said that they was in the studio and Game was like, "Yo, I'm about to start a beef with G Unit. I'm about to like take this shit over. It's about to be some real East Coast, West Coast shit. It's about to be Biggie and Pac all over again." Like and I'm like, damn, that's crazy. And what's funny is that later on, Cameron said Jim Jones was like, "Yo, we should do a fake beef." And Cameron was like, and Cameron was like, "No, nigga, I'm gonna give you some real beef."
I remember that.
But I just think that's funny, right? But one other thing, a revelation that I had when I was thinking about this project, right? To me, whenever the Game works with 50 Cent, Kanye West, and Dr. Dre, and maybe Dr. Dre executive producing it, I think if Game was able to work with 50 Cent, if Kanye and 50 could collaborate to make an album for Game that was oversaw by Dr. Dre, that obviously that's like a dream team
that's a lot of
project.
fans.
But I'm just saying, like, because his songs with Kanye are always spot on, right? Always, right? And Dr. Dre coming in later on, fine tuning it, I would prefer that, And then 50 Cent is very good with like hooks and telling stories. So you just like if you tell Game what to rap about, he could do it.
Yeah, I think Game low key has a very slept on ear in music. You know how in hip hop people always name drop Fat Joe for his ear in music, and they always name drop Rick Ross. They always name drop them. Those are like the main two that I always hear, like, yo, his ear for music or his ear for beats or whatever is so good. But people don't name drop Game. And I think Game, I don't know how involved he is with the process, but I'd imagine over the years he's became more involved. But I think Game always picks, and mind you, it's like big names. And he always gets a Just Blaze or Timbaland or Dre. But the beats that he chooses are superb. And he can really, really rap. And he's been getting better since his first album off rapping.
Yeah, facts.
So that's like really something to credit him to. It's just that it gets overshadowed, and I'm glad you brought up the Kanye comparison, because it goes. Because Kanye gives you really quality shit. It's just, you can only stomach but so much from him sometimes. And I think it's one and the same with Game. But into this album.
Oh, I got one other little quick fact, right? So before the album was named Jesus Peace, the album was dedicated to his brother, and the album was also dedicated to the Chicago rapper Little JoJo. And he wanted to name the album Soundtrack to Chaos. And then he changed that, and he wanted to name the album Five, Fears, Victories, Evolution. But the reason why he changed it from Five, and Five is a flip on Bloods. He twisted from that because Trey Songz had that mixtape out that was doing really good. It was called Five, but it was V.
Oh, okay.
And then 50 Cent had like a digital project that was coming out that had something to do with the number 5, and obviously that guy, like, he deaded that, right? So then he went back and changed it, and that goes back to like when I was saying like he changed. That's when he came with the concept of Jesus Peace. But then it was like he had 60 days to turn in the album. So everything that he recorded up until that point, he had to do over. And that's why Rick Ross and Wayne had to re-record their verses for him for the album. And he had 60 days to get it done. So that's why, if you remember leading up to it, he was trying to do the same thing that Kanye did, but he did it on Sundays, where he released a new track that we didn't hear.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. And leading up to this, I think, man, looking back at Game's discography, like this has been a favorite from people that don't even fuck with Game. People that don't even fuck with Game name this album. They're always like, yo, Jesus Peace or Documentary. That's just like the default answers. But I don't think he's missed, man. With albums, the only miss was that compilation shit he dropped with like his crew that he was trying to build, which was Year to Wolf. Year to Wolf, I was like, nah, this ain't it. I can't really fuck with this. And who are these niggas? I don't know. Who are these niggas?
Well,
I don't know them.
I gotta add Tommy Davidson into that.
I didn't know them. So like that didn't really hit, but every album he's giving you something. Like even Documentary 2. Documentary 2 was really good. Really, really slept on.
I like LAX.
LAX was fire.
A lot.
The Red album was good. Doctor's Advocate, he had so much to prove with that album, and he proved it. Like he can do this on his own.
Right.
It's just he gets wrapped up in Instagram shit and all this other beef, and Game is just all over the place. But when it comes to the music, you can't take it away from him.
Right. I try not to. I try my best not to.
I try not to, and I always check the Game releases. I think he said that last album was his last. What was it called again?
I don't remember. Born to Rap.
Born to Rap.
Right, and Drake stole his album cover idea.
With the pregnant,
Yeah, that nigga had real, like, Drake got cover art. Like, nah, Game got real pregnant women to come to the studio and chill with him while he was rolling up blunts.
And he put that up on his Instagram, like, hey, I'm looking for women that are pregnant, come to the studio, whatever, for his photo shoot. So I was like, what is going on?
Hey, man. He's a visionary.
Jesus. But nevertheless, this album kicks off with Scared Now. Scared Now features Meek Mill. It's produced by Black Metaphor. How we feeling?
The song was cool, right? I think it's hilarious how things turned out between him and Meek. Because remember, like, they was really cool. Yeah. And then that Sean Kingston situation happened.
Oh, yeah.
And then Game and Meek just started, like, beefing, and then Meek kept a stack. He was like, that nigga want to fight? I'm not fighting him.
Yeah. What the fuck? Because Game always want to fight. He recorded himself beating somebody up.
What is his name? 40 Glock.
40 Glock. It was 40 Glock. 40 Glock? Yeah, it was 40 Glock.
Yeah. He was punching the shit out of him.
He was beating him up. He was on the ground. He's like recording. I'm like, bro, like, you 36.
Yeah, so this song is cool, but what I thought was really funny, well, it wasn't funny, but I was like, yo, why he had to say he know who killed Biggie, but he ain't no snitch, though. But that's all right, though.
Like, bro, what?
Like, and like, we all watch, well, no, I'm not going to say we all, but I would assume that many of us watch Vlad TV. So I just think that it's fucking hilarious that, like, obviously Vlad has interviewed all these niggas, so it's like we all know who killed Biggie now. Like, it's no secret anymore. Yeah. But I just think it's bad funny because, like, he said that, and I'm like, damn, he really just had to go there. But, like, he always, throughout this album, what I noticed is that he references a lot of callbacks to, like, past, like, historic moments in hip hop.
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny. And obviously Meek, is rapping like he's running from the police.
Of course.
Always rapping like somebody's right behind him.
Or like he's going down a roller coaster.
Yeah. It's a cool opening though. I'm not mad. I wasn't mad at it. I was just like, all right, okay.
Yeah, it's solid. But the show stealer, Ali Boumbaye.
Yes.
And we're not gonna go track for track, but we are just highlighting. We're just naming out some of these highlights. But Ali Boumbaye features 2 Chainz and Rick Ross. It's produced by Black Metaphor. Man, now the special thing about this song, and I don't know if 2 Chainz knows how significant this song is to his career, but it's very significant.
He don't.
And I say that because when 2 Chainz came out, people used to say, like, oh, They used to say like, oh, they didn't take him too serious, whatever. He used to be the jokey rapper, the one that had like the good beats, the good music association. Everything was working for 2 Chainz at that time, but they didn't take him serious as an MC. And I think Ali Boumbaye is what helped people look at him in a different light.
Ali kill him. That's what Ali Boumbaye means from the classic Rumble in the Jungle fight with George Foreman. Well, Muhammad Ali beat the dog shit out of George Foreman and humbled that man. That rally cry is really significant, right? Because it's kind of like on some like championship, like walking to the ring, right? Because that's all they chanted when they were in Zaire, Africa, for that fight. Ross and 2 Chainz, like, immaculate. Like, obviously Ross, I can't name a whack Ross verse, and then Chainz coming on the track and doing what he did was quite impressive.
It was very impressive.
Because I remember, you want to know what else is funny? I remember, so this album, when did this album come out? What year?
2012.
This album came out in 2012. So I went to South by Southwest 2015, and 2 Chainz still was getting like flack from people, on albums because he was on Schoolboy Q's album. And like it was like a thing where like people was like, Schoolboy, how you gonna fuck with him? Like, I mean, Schoolboy was like, yo, how you gonna fuck with Chainz? Like, he not even like a lyrical nigga.
Oh, you talking about this the shit that they want? That shit.
Yeah. And like Schoolboy was like, I fuck with Cuz. Like, that's why I'm fucking with him. Like, so I just thought I just think that's funny that like Game was like standing next to him even before that.
Yeah.
You know, because like it still was a stretch when niggas wasn't fucking with 2 Chainz.
Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, there was a stretch. And 2 Chainz really stole the show on this. I mean, you got a good Ross verse, but I kind of honestly forget that Ross is on this because it opens with so much momentum.
Yeah, Ross is at the end.
And from 2 Chainz, and Ross is at the end. It's a nice time.
Support for Rap in Order is brought to you by Manscaped,
who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code RAPINORDER20 at manscaped.com.
Check it out.
So we pick up after Ali Boumbaye with Jesus Piece. Jesus Piece features Common and Kanye West. It's produced by the Maven Boys and Cosminic. How we feel?
Jesus Piece was dope. So another thing that I realized is that these songs are mad long, or maybe we're just trained to listen to shorter songs.
No, yeah, Ali Boumbaye was 6 minutes.
Because okay, so I'm not tripping because you know Common's verse is actually really good, but by the time you're done with the song by the time you get to Common's verse, and it was a really well produced song and it's dope and everything, great concept, but it's just that by the time you get to Common's verse, who's like one of our GOAT rappers. And it's like you wouldn't expect to hear Common and Game rapping together.
No, I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, so like that's dope. It
doesn't seem like he's supposed to be on this song, to be honest. And I actually thought that that we would get a Kanye verse on this.
Right,
he just does the chorus.
Yeah, well, I mean we don't get a Kanye verse, but what I think happened, and I could be wrong, because he does the like Kanye. And I'm just like, yo, like, was he supposed to give Kanye this verse and like Kanye just didn't get it back to him in time?
Oh yeah, I could see that. But also like he does, it's weird because he does different flows. Like on Ali Boumbaye, he raps like Meek Mill. Mm-hmm. He does Meek's whole flow. Free C Murder, like he does that whole like, and he does that a lot on this album and in the past too. Like he just raps like other niggas. But so I don't know, but I could see that happening. What you just said.
Yeah.
Jesus Piece was cool, but it didn't really move me like that. Another thing that we didn't talk about though was the in and out of Kevin Hart on this album.
Yeah.
which is like, it was a nice touch. I don't know if Kevin Hart will be down with doing this today.
Hell no.
Yeah, he's such an entity now. He's such like,
he said it already. He said, "Listen, man, I'm getting chase money now. There's a lot of shit I can't do." He's already said that.
Yeah, he's not doing this.
Yeah,
now.
he's not doing it.
But it was a nice touch for back then. I don't know why he had him on here, but it was a nice touch.
Shit, I mean, he got at the perfect time when Kevin was available to do shit like that. Now, it ain't happening.
It's really not happening. You're right. Pray. Like, I didn't want to go track for track, but he has some really big features on his album.
He does.
Pray has J. Cole and I always say this wrong, but is it Jamson?
I was saying Jameson in my head.
Or
when
Jameson?
Yeah.
JMSN.
Yeah.
But it's produced by Cool and Dre.
Yeah.
J. Cole. This is a very J. Cole beat.
It is, but I felt like Cole dog walk game on this song.
Yeah, he did.
I definitely think he dog walked him on this song. And that was another unlikely collaboration. But I also know that like Cole is always game to give a feature.
Yeah.
Especially if he fucks with you. So I'm pretty sure, like us, Cole listened to the documentary and was like, hell yeah, I'll give that nigga. Just on the strength, like, I fucked with the documentary and everything like that. That's what I took from it. Cool and Dre are like doing that thing on his album.
They always, what's crazy about Cool and Dre? Cool and Dre will always give you one, and then they'll disappear.
Because niggas be getting all that money. They just go back to Miami and be chilling on boats.
Yeah, it's like they do one when the money getting low. And yeah. But they always will give you one. They always, they're really good for that. And they've been around for a minute. Church was the next in rotation on this, but... And this shit is 6 minutes long. I see what you mean about long ass songs.
Yeah, like it's really crazy. But I like, all right, so damn, we all going on the road, but we can't skip this one. We can't skip All That Lady.
Yeah. Because
that's the D'Angelo flip to You're My Lady. And it has Big Sean, it has Fab on it, and Wayne.
And Jeremiah.
Oh yeah, and Jeremiah, right? So This song is definitely in the lane that Fab will get on, so it was perfect for Fab, right?
But
Big Sean is impressive, but Wayne, I felt like out rapped everybody on this shit, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, he did. I think what was always interesting to me about this song, because I did like it, was that when Fab comes on, it kind of just fades out. I don't know what that was for. I
bet you that Game sent that to all of them. None of them knew that they always gonna be on this track together.
Yeah, but like it's like damn, like we just came off a 6 minute song. Like I know you're not just why'd you fade this out like this? Like I wanted to hear. I was actually interested in hearing Fab on this.
Right, because this is his lane. This is
his bag. But he came on and then it just like faded out. I was like, whoa, all right. But,
maybe he was like, fuck this nigga, turn this shit off.
Right?
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, fuck it. Heaven's Arms, how we feel. That's produced by Cool and Dre, and it's actually one of his only solo songs on his album.
It's a well produced song, but I wasn't like blown away.
Yeah, actually, I think it actually is on the standard version of this album. It's the only song he has by himself.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because that's yeah.
Yeah, and then Name Me King. Name Me King features Pusha T, produced by Sap.
Yo, this song I'm the biggest Pusha T fan, and this song sucks.
I don't care for this song either.
This song sucked, and it's disappointing because you hear a song like when you get two rappers like Game and Pusha T, you kind of envision it being kind of like a Beans and Jay collab, like Once Again this song.
Hard.
But like they didn't like lyric. It was very like phoned in.
Yeah.
And like for them to be the monsters of lyricism that they are, and for them to deliver what the fuck they delivered, like you don't know how you notice, like because if they did, people would talk about it. Nobody, like some people don't even know that they have a song together.
Yeah, nobody talks about.
Yeah, like this song.
You know what people still talk about with Pusha T? Nostalgia. Yeah. Every other day, I see somebody talk about Nostalgia.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like I don't know if Pusha wasn't inspired or like he just did it as a favor or whatever, man. But I didn't need this, and it was really disappointing because these are two like sharp steel kind of rappers, and neither one of them brought it.
See No Evil features Kendrick Lamar and Tank. I didn't expect this beat. I didn't expect Tank on this. Boy Wonder produced this. I really like it though. Kendrick went off on this.
Yeah, this was a wasted, immaculate Kendrick verse.
Why you say wasted?
Well, because Kendrick, Game basically always reminds Kendrick that he took Kendrick on his first tour. Mm-hmm. But this verse was too good. Like, all right, the way that this album was promoted was shit. Like, he did all of this talking up to the album. Then after the album came out, it kind of just died out. Like, he had all this build up to the album, right? Yeah. So you're looking at the track list and you're seeing all of these artists that he has listed, right?
A lot of money was spent.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh shit. Like when you think of Game, you just think of lyrical sparring. You just think of you know what I'm saying? Like,
a lot of money was spent, but a lot of this looks like favors.
Of course it is, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that he constantly reminds Kendrick that he brought Kendrick on tour. Yeah, is the thing. It's one of those things where it's he's always going to be able to call in that favor and get a Kendrick verse. Even though Kendrick's yo, I don't feel like recording, but I got some shit I ain't used here. Yeah, nigga. Like, it's just one of those things where I'm just like, all right, man. That's my issue, right? But that also takes me into the question that I wanted to ask, why do you think that Game is not when people I just saw something the other day where they listed the faces of the West Coast, right? And Dre is on there, Snoop, Kendrick's on it, and then the fourth person is always interchange, Ice Cube, or they'll try to say, all right, they'll interchange and be Too Short and or E40, they'll interchange it, or sometimes they even put Mac Dre, but Game's never listed.
No, he's not. I don't know why. And he has the discography to be listed.
Right. I've even seen niggas put Corrupt.
Yeah.
Corrupt can rap. I'm not disrespecting Corrupt. I'm just saying Game's never hailed.
You know what it is? Because the West Coast has so many held entities that he kind of gets lost in the mix. And look at when he came out. So he came out at 2005. Everyone that they name that's not Game came out in the early 90s. So they have
minus Kendrick.
Well, yeah, minus Kendrick. But Kendrick is a different case because, one, his whole discography so far is classic material or held as classic material. Mm-hmm. And he's this mysterious artist that isn't problematic like Game. And he just comes out, he works, and he just dips. Right. So there's different elements to it as to why he would be mentioned and not Game. Because Game has a really messy history.
Yeah, it's annoying, bro.
Yeah.
And that's just me. And that's me arguing for Game. I know I shitted on Game a few times, but I'm not even trying to shit on Game I don't like him. I actually really like Game. So my issue is more so that it's damn, nigga, what's your problem?
Yeah. He's too out there, man. He's just too much. He's too indecisive. He had a butterfly tattoo, then people started making fun of him. Then he covered it with LA. It's come on, bro, stand your ground. Can't Get Right, I guess it features K. Roosevelt. It's produced by Cool and Dre. Another long song.
Why he dreamed that Drake died?
Yeah, what, bro?
He said Drake owed me a few verses. Then I dreamed that you died.
And then if you dream that, we don't need to hear that. Just call your friend, check on him.
Yeah, man. I just think that was some real asshole shit to say. Yeah, nigga, and I dreamed you died in California, Tupac style, nigga. Damn.
What, man?
Yeah, that's just something I just wonder about, right? And he makes a bunch of references, rapper references on the song, and I get it. I get the double entendres and the metaphors that he's making for the rappers and shit like that, right? And I just think that after a while it becomes repetitive because on all his albums, he makes a lot of references and metaphors to past rappers or whatever like that, or past events in hip hop. And then he'll always say, "Yeah, we should get G Unit back together." Yeah, and he's always doing that.
Not tatted on his arm.
Yeah, it's I'm telling you, the parallels between him and Kanye are a lot more.
They're kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is a lot more. It's Game is the gangster Kanye.
Yeah,
in a sense, right? Where it's he has a lot of shit to say. He's very controversial. A lot of his opinions are kind of odd. Remember, like when Nipsey Hussle passed, like he posted a picture of Nipsey every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was all he did.
He got a Nipsey car.
Yeah,
he got Nipsey on the cover of his car.
Yeah, Nipsey car.
When Kobe passed, he got the number 8 on his face.
Right, his son. Yeah, on his son's birthday, all he wanted to do was I think he wanted to do something for Nipsey, and like obviously like that's traumatic. Like somebody he was close with passed away, understandable, but. Like, Nip's brother didn't even do all that shit. So it's just one of those things where it's just like, yo, what the fuck Game be thinking about?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right? It's just like, yo, what's on this man's mind? But like,
all of it.
Yeah. Or he'll post a random pic in his underwear. Mm-hmm. And, obviously the ladies eat that up. Y'all love that shit. But, it's just something it's just like, yo, what's up with you, bro? And then he'll do cool shit like go play in the Drew League and like score mad points and like win in the Drew League.
And that's another thing about Game. He can really play ball.
Yeah, nigga like 6'8".
Yeah, so like,
it's just funny,
a lot
man.
Of different facets to Game that like one thing would like completely turn you off from him as a person, and another side of him where it's like, yo, this guy makes great music. Yeah,
it's always that, and that's why it's very like even like in his rap class. Right?
Yeah.
Like I still put him in the same rap class as Kanye, and like we're going back to those parallels. But he like some people say that his first album is a classic.
I love his first album.
Right?
We reviewed it on this. I can't remember what we decided on.
I probably didn't call it a classic.
I probably called it a classic.
I think you did. I know Julius called it a classic.
Yeah, but that first album was special, regardless of the things that you can hold against it. Of like, oh, it was all constructed by 50 and Dr. Dre and Eminem, and it's like, well, yeah, you got all those cooks in the fucking kitchen. Of course,
it should have been.
Give me the classic.
Yeah, it should have. He needs that.
Yeah,
he needs that. He doesn't need it in his hands, but I just think that Game deserves a little bit more respect. I know listeners like, yo, where's Taurian going with this? But what I'm saying is that Game deserves a little bit more respect. I just want Game to hone in and focus a little bit more on one thing. And he tried it with this album so hard, but he had way too many features. Mm-hmm. Way too many features.
A lot of features on this album. I don't have anything much to say about Hallelujah with Jamie Foxx. I like when Jamie Foxx gets features. It's like he be reminding niggas like, yeah, I'm still around,
Yeah.
Freedom though. Freedom features Elijah Blake. It's produced by Amadeus. This is one of my favorite Game songs.
I'm a sucker for a sped up soul sample.
Yes. He sounds amazing on this. I like when Game just raps.
I do too.
And this is great. Like, this is like really, really good level rapping.
Yeah, I don't think that Hov and Nas are somewhere saying that this nigga's really spent.
They're not.
I don't think so.
And when you hear that part, I'm like, wait, what?
Jay doesn't give a fuck about Game.
You probably never heard this album.
Nope.
So I think the album should have ended with that, but instead, the album concludes with Celebration featuring Chris Brown, Tyga, Lil Wayne, and Wiz Khalifa, which was like the big sample. I think this was...
That's the Bone Thugs flip.
The Bone Thugs flip.
Speaking of Bone Thugs, really quick, who you got in the loud verses? Bone Thugs or 3-6?
The verses?
Yeah.
I got 3-6.
You have 3-6. Mm-hmm. I guess like it's so I can't even say that's a Midwest thing because they're both. I mean, you are from they're like Bone Thugs are from the Midwest, so I can't even be like, you from the Midwest, so like you fuck with 3-6 because it's like even though they're in the South, like it's more a direct pipeline, but you kind of betraying the Midwest, and
that's it. So I get that, but. They were both prominent in the Midwest, even though Bone Thugs is from Cleveland, it's right there. But 3-6, I saw their shine like a little different. It's crazy. Like things that pop off in the Midwest, the way they hit. I mean, things that pop off in the South, the way that they hit Midwest is really, really special to me. So I got like a really good dose of both of them. So like I don't know. I think with Bone Thugs hit and they hit different, right? Because they gave us a different side of Biggie. They're credited for that.
They're credited for that. And their melodic way of rapping. You know, obviously in Chicago, Do or Die, like, you know, they also revolutionized that, right? But like what Bone Thugs did, they crossed over and made it mainstream. So for me, I'm just like, yo, it's Bone Thugs. Like, it's like they sold 10 million. Yeah, they sold 10 million records. They got just as many members as Wu-Tang. We don't know all of them, but they last name and we're Bone. Like, but I'm in a minority. No one has told me that they think Bone Thugs are one. Everyone has told me 3-6.
I do love Bone Thugs, but 3-6 has so many different avenues they can pull from, and I really hope Juicy J shows up that night. I was really hoping before this happened that Juicy J would get his own verses, because niggas don't know.
He's been asking for it,
and I was hoping that he got it, because a lot of people don't know the production credit behind him. I just wish verses will go back to crediting producers in general, but that's a whole nother.
They started doing the performance thing, so that makes it a little harder. Yeah. So unless you're producing, you like every song I'm about to play tonight, I'm gonna get an artist come out and perform. It's kind of hard. Like even though like Swiss and Tim do it, and they did it pretty well in my opinion, but it's still a little hard to get that off.
It's tough.
Sorry we veered off, ladies and gentlemen. I really wanted to get.
But that's I definitely got 3-6.
Okay.
Maybe, who knows? Will Crunchy come back? Who knows?
I mean he's out.
I know he wasn't fucking with them for some years.
We'll see. Let's see if they get everybody. Project Pat, Gangsta Boo, all of them.
Oh man, that'd be great to see Gangsta Boo. But anyway, so we digress. The album caps off with Celebration with the Bone Thugs sample. It's a very busy single. I think this was the first single from this album.
Yo, whoever chose the singles for this album, like, why was Jesus Peace not a lead single? Like,
yeah, Jesus Peace could have been a lead single. Ali Boumbaye. I think Ali Boumbaye was a single.
It ended up becoming a single, but it wasn't like a single that the label put money behind. It just that the song was that good.
Well, they should have put money behind all that. Yeah, they should have. That really could have took off.
I agree.
But anyway, so. This album, of course, caps off at the 13. After 13 tracks, you know, you have a blockbuster fucking album with all these features. How are we feeling with the rating?
I give it 3 waffles out of 5 waffles.
Okay.
Because the album, like, you can never say anything about Game's rapping ability. For one, that's one thing that you can't say anything about. Game can rap. The production is A1. It's just that sometimes his subject matter kind of loses you. Yeah. And I think that's more so the issue. And my other problem with the album is that some of the songs are too fucking long. Like this is Mr. What is he, Mr. 300 bars?
Oh, 300 bars I'm running?
Yeah, like he raps too much.
Yeah, he does.
Like, and I think he needs he really needs, like, he needs to be in the studio with Dre, because Dre will be like, yo,
give him some structure.
Yeah, Dre will just be like, yo, I just need 16.
Yeah.
That's it.
Dre strikes me as a brutally honest
producer.
To be like, yo,
I
bro,
agree.
Like, nah, cut that. Like, you don't need all this. So he does need some structure. I agree actually with a 3. I think this album, I don't know what it is about this album that people love so much to the extent that they love it. Because when you name an album, and even coming up to us doing this podcast for this episode, people was like, yo, yeah, I love that album. That's a great album. Jesus Peace, that album's fire. It's like, yeah, this album's good. Like, I feel like people need to visit Game's discography more than they do before they rate this album the way that they do. Because I listen to Game. Yeah. Like, I listen to him coming up, and he has better albums than this. I don't know why this is so revered.
Like I said, man, The Bars, the documentary. And I know some people are like, why you always got to compare it? And it's like, because I do. That's what I do. His best body of work is the documentary, so I always have to ask myself, how does it measure up to his best body of work? And this album falls extremely short.
And it's funny because he raps so much better than he raps so much better now than he did when the documentary came out. He raps so much better.
Absolutely.
Now. But that album was put together so well. But I think, like I said earlier, people really need to revisit the documentary too, because he really rapped very well on that album.
He did.
And it's a great combination of really good production, great storytelling. It is great, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. But I think we can settle on that 3.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. So yes. So I have been First Class Reg,
And I'm Taurian B.
and we are out of here.
Catch you guys next time.